everyone, it's Kerry. I recently shared some pictures of these little specimen trays that I had created, and a lot of people were asking for a tutorial and how did I make them. So I'm going to show you that today. Now, I was actually inspired by a picture I saw over on Jibidneeri's website, so I'll leave a link to that below and you can pop over and check that out as well. So when you were all asking for a tutorial, I had created these originally on my laser, and I do have some kits available in my shop that have all the components for you to be able to make these for, as you see them here. And I also have some digital printable kits available as well, but I'm going to show you how you can make them at home using your own supplies or with things that you're able to source locally to wherever you are. Regardless of whether you want to use one of our specimen tray kits, which is what I've got laid out here, or whether you want to use your own materials, the construction and decoration of the specimen tray is going to be the same. So for each specimen tray I've got 5 layers. If you're making this at home with your own supplies, you'll need to cut out a rectangle and then have a little window in the middle here. You might want to use a die if you've got a die cutting machine, and then you'll need 2 decorative layers that are cut to the same size as this one. And you'll also need some plastic sheeting to go over the top. This doesn't have a hole in it, but it is the same size as this rectangle. You could just use acetate sheeting or some plastic packaging, anything like that would work. So once you've prepared your components, to begin building the tray, I'm going to take this chipboard layer and one of these acetate layers. Now if you receive these in the kit, they'll actually have a paper liner on both sides, and you'll just need to remove that. It just protects the plastic so it doesn't get scratched. And I'm just using a little pin to lift the edge of that paper, and then it will peel straight off. So to attach my acetate to the chipboard, I'm just using a little bit of liquid glue. And then I'm just going to line up one of these acetate pieces straight over the top. So now I have a plastic window in my chipboard, and I'm going to turn it over so this is the inside of the window. And what I've got here is a butterfly sticker. Now I've actually stuck 2 stickers back to back, and that way when I pop my butterfly in the tray it's going to be visible from both sides. And I just put a very, very small amount of glue onto the back of one of the butterflies, and then I just eyeball it to line it up in the middle of the tray. And once I'm happy with that, I'll take the second layer of acetate and I'll just pop that over the top of the butterfly as well, and then it will be enclosed inside this tray. So I'll just pop that to the side to dry, and I have my 2 decorative layers here. So I'm going to add some stamping and some gold splashes onto the scrapbook paper. It's much easier if you do this before you layer it onto your specimen tray, and then you don't have to avoid the plastic part in the middle. All the extra stamping and extra splashes will just be on this scrap paper. So I've just got some Lindy's magical powder here, which I've popped into the tray and I've activated it with water. These are the metallic ones, so I can use it like ink and just splash it over the top of my decorative pieces here, and it will dry with a nice gold metallic sheen. And then let's make sure that's dried off before I continue. So now I've finished decorating my scrapbook papers. I'm ready to add those onto the specimen tray. And I'm just going to use the liquid glue again to adhere these on top. So now I have my construction complete, all my layers are glued down. I'm just going to ink around the edges using a double ink technique and a couple of different colours. I like to use a couple of browns and a black. Just adds a little bit more depth to the inking. So I add the brown first and I add this quite deeply around the edge. And then I go around the edge again, but only quite shallow on the edge this time with the black ink. So there we go. I think by adding the two different inks, it gives it a bit more of an aged look. And then I'll just do the same on the other side. So now I have both sides inked and I just need to decide which side I'm going to pop my little label onto. Now these have been laser engraved, so sometimes there can be a little bit of a sooty residue on the sides, so just give it a wipe before you glue it on. If you're creating this at home, you can just print some of these sort of labels out on your computer. There we go, and that one's now complete. So in front of me here are the two different digital collections that we have available. There's the vintage browns and then there's also a coloured collection. Now each one of the two collections comes with 3 sheets. The first sheet has the fronts and the backs. The second sheet also has fronts and backs, but the windows have been left blank here. And that works in conjunction with this third sheet, which has a collection of different butterflies in different orientations and also some blank boxes so you can add your own element inside, and the little cut apart specimen labels. Now these work in several different ways and I'll just give you a quick demo of how you can use those. So this one is just the front and back cut apart, and on the back here I've inked around the edge with some black ink. The reason for that is if you fussy cut out the images and you're a bit like me and your fussy cutting isn't great, you'll see that my back layer has a white line here. If you ink around the edges of the inside, when you line them up, even if your fussy cutting isn't great, you won't be able to tell because the black ink hides your imperfections. So you can see here that I've got a bit of a line if you look carefully. So basically once you've cut those out and inked them, it's just a matter of gluing them together and then that's pretty much done. So just using a glue stick. And I'm just going to make sure that I have both pieces up the right way. Now you can still add a whole bunch of decorating to the ones from the digitals if you want to. just mask off your butterfly window here with a little bit of paper or some washi tape before you add any additional stamping or your splashes. And that's pretty much ready to go now. So that's that one. So what I've got here is a back and a front from the sheet where you can cut out the little window. And then I've selected one of the butterflies that I want to have showing in my window here. I've got a sheet of acetate and I'm just going to turn my front window over. Now I've already inked around the edge of this one. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on each side here so I can attach my piece of acetate sheeting. So this is just the clear plastic, and this will give me a little clear window inside my specimen tray, and I've cut the acetate sheet to be just a little bit smaller than the tray. So once I've glued that down, I take my little butterfly image here and I'm just going to pop a very small amount of adhesive on the edges. And then I can just eyeball that through the window and line that up. And then I'll just put some more adhesive on the back. And making sure I have it up the right way. Just pop my back over there as well. Line it up. And then you might want to use a little bulldog clip or something just to hold everything together until it's fully dried, and then once it's fully dried you could go ahead and do any extra inking around the edges. If you want to decorate this front window with additional stamping and ink splashes, then you would do that before you attach it like we did with the other ones. So you can use the digital kit to create one like this with a clear window as well. All you need to do is cut out 2 of the fronts with the holes in it. And then you'll need 2 more pieces of acetate and whatever little element that you'd like to pop into your window here. So I've already inked around these so that my fussy cutting, or very poor fussy cutting, isn't noticeable. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on each side. And then take one of my acetate pieces, which I've actually cut just a little bit smaller than the tray, and pop that into place. And I've got a little acetate butterfly here. I'm just going to attach that with a small amount of glue. Now I need to check, because I have a word on here, I just want to make sure that I have it up the right way. And I'm just going to pop that to the side and do the same on the other one. Just going to glue my second piece of acetate to the back of this one. Now when the glue is wet, the acetate will move around quite easily, so you might want to let these sit to dry a little bit before you try to glue them together. When you're ready to glue them together, you just need to apply some more adhesive around the window. Try not to get too close to the window because the glue will ooze in between and you won't be able to get it out. Then just checking that I have my word up the right way, layering that over the top, and then I would I would hold this together with a couple of bulldog clips until it was completely dry, and then you can go ahead and do your extra inking or whatever around the edges after that. So there we go, and that's nice and clear and see-through, and you can use it on both sides. So there we go. I hope that was clear enough for you. If you do have any questions, feel free to just pop them down below and I'll do my best to answer them for you. I'll leave links to both these 2 digital kits and also the physical kits in the shop for anyone that's interested. Thanks a lot for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.